All right, people. It's going to be a good conversation. You know what I'm saying? To be fair, every conversation on TDA is an amazing one.
Yeah.
But today we have a unique guest. First guest of the year, you know what I'm saying? So he's definitely in a privileged position. Right? But I want you guys to please introduce our HCPC registered clinical psychologist, who is the founder of the TWA Psychology Collective.
Come on.
He's originally from Trinidad and Tobago.
Come on.
And this brother brings a rich cultural perspective to his work and has extensive experience across the NHS, supporting adults, children, families from diverse backgrounds. Through his collective, the TWA Psychology Collective, which stands for Together We Aspire, he's deeply committed to improving access to quality mental health support, particularly for the Black community, where cultural understanding and representation are often missing from mainstream services. His approach is compassionate, we're going to get into it, person-centered, and firmly grounded in evidence-based care. He currently specializes in oncology within the NHS and draws on approaches including cognitive behavioral therapy and also acceptance and commitment therapy. Please introduce our wonderful guest, Dr. Shadiq Joseph.
A wonderful intro.
What an intro.
What an intro.
Once again, man, thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you. It's been, I'm just so happy to be here. You know, it's a new opportunity for me, and just to kind of share who I am, what I'm doing. I'm just grateful, for sure.
Appreciate it. Plus, found out obviously before we go on air that you actually travelled from very far, man. You had to get a visa and also. Big up everyone in Croydon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, had to get a passport here.
I've been holding it. I was like,
Oh, just be gunning for South like that.
What? Are you too saying?
I'm South, man.
No, you said.
You can't be gunning for South like that.
Oh,
Well, you consider Croydon South,
you're
yeah?
also part of the
Yes.
collective. Oh God.
That's my ends, man.
Oh, God.
All right. So obviously, for people who are new to your work, right? How would you explain what your role is? What is a clinical psychologist?
So, good question. So, clinical psychologists, we help people with a range of difficulties. So, people come to us, and usually it's some kind of difficulty. So, they're going through something in their life. Some people, it's chronic. They've had things going on for them since childhood, and it's only kind of cropping up in adulthood. It depends who you work with. But at the crux of it, we help people who are at a point in their lives where they're reaching out and they need some kind of psychological support. So whether that might be, it could be short term, sometimes it could be 1 session, 6 sessions, it could be long term, but we're there to kind of help people through that difficulty and get them to a point where you don't necessarily need us. We kind of equip you with tools that now in your kind of, wherever you are, whatever struggle it is, you now have these tools and you can kind of regain that balance in a sense. I don't want people to depend on me. I want to kind of guide you and help you, and then you start to kind of do that work for yourself, if that makes sense.
What sort of, I guess, situations, issues do people come to you with? Like, if you're specific in terms of like the range, obviously maybe some psychosis, I don't know, compared to something that's more, I don't want to say basic, but
Yeah. So, at the stage I'm at right now, so training, I've gone through loads of different placements, and psychosis, all those things have been part of it. But where I'm currently, I work in oncology, so that's cancer specific.
Okay.
So I work with people across different stages of cancer. So whether it's, initial diagnosis, then remission, palliative care, so like end of life care, or for example, it's a recurrence. So they've had cancer 10 years down the line, it's come back and it's spread. So I work with people across all different stages. So that's cancer specific short term work. However, in TWA, I work with a range of people, whether it be children or adults. And what people come with can really vary. It could be relational things to do with something happened in my childhood, and now I can see a potential pattern in adulthood, but I don't really know what it is, but something's a bit off at the moment. It can really differ when it comes to my private side of the work.
Is there not any like commonalities though? Are there like kind of things that tend to come up again and again? And do you like particularly serve the Black community, or is it just everybody? Like, how does that work?
In NHS or TWA?
TWA.
So I'm there for everyone for TWA, but I keep on doing this thing to get used to this. How I present in terms of how I kind of market, I wasn't always going to be like front facing, but I realized in order for people to understand who's behind it, and actually buy into TWA and need to kind of put myself in front of it. I don't tend to see black males in psychology, like at all, especially from the Caribbean. So I had to kind of take that step forward and be like, I need to show people that we do exist, you know, and there is support there in terms of an understanding. Don't get me wrong, I don't assume just because I'm black and from the Caribbean, I understand everyone's walk of life. It doesn't work like that. But I have some kind of cultural knowledge and a natural curiosity to understand that, you know, and actually within the space, celebrate that as well as a strength. But sorry, I didn't answer your question.
So yeah. So with the people that you do serve in TWA, do you is there any like commonalities that come up in terms of like what people are dealing with?
In TWA?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
No commonalities. It honestly is every person's so unique and what they're coming with is so different. NHS, yes, there's some themes because it's so specific.
Yeah.
But when it comes to TWA, honestly, it really varies. I can do, for example, anxiety work, and I can then go on to be doing something to do with someone's childhood trauma. Like it really does vary.
And what do you, on that side of things, like, do you have a specialist there, specialist area or special interest there?
So this is it. So specialist areas sell to the public, right? When you say you're a specialist, or for example, this is your kind of area of work, that sells. But I don't like to be boxed. So even on my website, right, it says specialize in oncology. That's because that's my 9 to 5, right? So naturally, that's what I'm working with. I've got a lot more experience with it. However, I don't want to box myself off. In 2-3 years, I won't be working on oncology. I'll probably go back to working with children because that's what I love to do. It's my passion. But with psychology, people like to stay in one place 5, 10, 15, 20 years. That's not going to be my story. I want to develop skills and continue to learn in different areas, which is why for TWA, I'm not saying just come to me with health, physical problems. No. You come to me with whatever you kind of come with.
Yeah.
How do you find it with the juxtaposition of your 9 to 5 in the NHS to TWA, like working in that kind of confine of the NHS?
So that's
How does it differ? Yeah.
Oh, speaking about this recently to my supervisor, I know, of course I'm just starting, but I love what I do privately. I can afford myself so much more time to kind of hold in mind that person I'm working with. In the NHS, it's some days it's back to back, 5 or 6 clients, and I'm talking like 10 minutes in between for me to do, not even notes, just to read over who I'm seeing next. So of course I'm still thinking about my clients, but the time I have is so limited. From training to now, my caseload has jumped, like literally doubled. And sometimes I'm like, am I doing these people a disservice? Because I feel like I want to give you more on sessions gone. I'm like, I need more time on you, but I can't. I've got someone else next. It's difficult. It's difficult. It really is. So for private-wise, of course, it depends how much people you're kind of coming to you, but you can say, I only want to see 3 people in my day because that affords me the time to really think about you wholly, you know?
Okay. Are you automatically like assigned patients or automatic
NHS?
in the NHS?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't choose.
Okay. It's just
Availability and stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's not the thing of on request. The reason I'm asking because sadly I've had recent experience. So my mum didn't. I don't recall her having a psychologist. So, yeah.
So yeah, you definitely have to request it, especially in, for example, where I work, oncology. Call a spade a spade. Black people have cancer. They go to the hospitals. I don't see them psychology. I don't see a lot of them in psychology. When I come across them, I'm like, ooh, not in a thing way, but I'm like, let's talk. You know, sometimes I walk on the wards, and I'm like, don't you want help, support? And you don't have to, by the way. But I'm just saying that we're accessing these hospitals, but in terms of the referrals I'm seeing coming to us, I don't see it.
Why is that though? Do they know about the services? Or
Yeah.
they know.
The nurses will ask them. But what I would say to you is, I can only speak from a Caribbean kind of background, right? If I don't see myself represented in the people that are supposed to help me, why do I want to go and sit down and potentially speak to someone that doesn't really know my background, and it feels kind of alien because we weren't really taught to go and speak about our difficulties to some stranger. That's what God's there for, right? On my background,
Yeah.
right? So that's one theory I have. I'm the only black male in my service.
Mm.
I'm not thinking about male. I'm thinking, am I the only male? No. There's more males, but only black staff member. Period.
There you go.
Wow.
How do you find that?
For a long time, to survive and just to get to where I am now, I try not to think about it a lot. But now I'm qualified. I'm like, hold on, where is everyone? It can't just be me that wants to do this profession. There are more, but we're just not getting to that point. And there's so much barriers that stops us from getting to that point.
Do you have to have a certain kind of? I always imagine that you have to have a certain kind of mindset to do that kind of work because you're taking on people's for a limited amount of time. You're taking on people's problems that especially in the work that you're doing on your 9 to 5. That this is like facing your mortality is a quite
Yes.
it's a lot to deal with.
For sure.
Right. So what kind of mindset do you have to do your role?
Of course, everyone, may not speak for everyone, but you'd like to hope most people that go into this kind of field are very empathetic, right? But the role that I hold currently, you have to really know how to, at some point, shut off when you leave work. Because this current job, working with cancer, is heavy. And you do kind of build like a therapeutic relationship with these people. And then, for some of them, inevitably, they have a shorter time period, and you know this. So you're working with them, kind of giving them hope and meaning for their life, but you know in a few weeks, tomorrow, they can pass. So mentality-wise, yes, we're empathetic. You have to know how to look after yourself once you leave work. For some people, for me, if you asked me 2 years ago, would you see yourself working where you are now? No,
No.
absolutely not. But I had a placement, and if I could bottle the feeling of kind of that therapy I kind of give to people and the meaning you can give to someone in their life at that kind of point and sell it, I would. Like, it's some of the most meaningful piece of work I've ever done.
So when people come to you, is it everything from like, how am I mentally going to get through this? Should I take this treatment or not? Is it those type of things that people are coming to you like in the sessions?
Good question. So typically we're there primarily. So sometimes we get referrals because people are really struggling to access treatment because they're like, what's the point? I'm not going to go and do this treatment and my life's kind of done anyway. So sometimes it's that, or sometimes it's just people are so down, I've been hit for 6 in terms of what does this mean for my life now? I've got kids. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to go on. So that's when we kind of come in and kind of give people that meaning, that hope. Like, I know you're in a situation where you think you haven't got choices, all right? Everything's been kind of told to you. You're going to be doing this treatment at this time. You're going to have this life expectancy. But what I actually know, even though you have all this going on, every day that you wake up, you have a choice. What breakfast you eat, what time to put on your clothes, you have choices. You still have power and control in certain things. And it's about shaping that and giving them that kind of new perspective.
Big up for Nan. He asked the question because he came late of what TWA is. So if you don't mind, can you explain TWA?
Yeah, so together we aspire, together we grow. So this is a kind of, if you know Trinidad, you know our coat of arms.
Come on. Together we aspire, together we achieve.
Come on.
Come on.
So something that's really, really important to me is my country, where I come from, where I was born. I'm very, very proud Trinidadian, and most of my family are still there. So when I was thinking of kind of building a company, a collective of people that really do represent the community that we serve, I thought, what better way to kind of root that in terms of where I came from. And together, kind of we aspire, together we grow. It's kind of going back to that belief in like collective growth. Because where I'm from, even though necessarily we might not want to tell everyone our problems, there's no such thing as going through something on your own, right? So whether someone kind of spots you, Gertrude, she's looking a bit off today. Next thing you know, there's groceries at your door and a pack of water. You didn't ask for nothing, but it's just showing you that you don't have to do anything in isolation. And in therapy, it takes two. You don't have to hold it on your own, you know? So Together We Aspire, Together We Grow is something that I created to kind of represent the community and show people that there are black therapists, there are people that are in these positions that can help you. And in terms of what we kind of offer, we offer therapy for adults and children, different forms of assessments. But how I actually go and outreach and get into these communities, I'm still trying to see how I do that, whether it's the community hubs, the youth groups, kind of like, I'm still trying to do my emails, networking. It's still very early doors, you know? And instead of trying to make everything perfect, which I'm not going to hold my hands up, I'm at fault for sometimes, I said, you know what, let me just go and do and figure it out as I kind of go along. So I'm not just like standing here saying, you know, I've got it figured out. Like, this was my plan and I'm doing exactly this. No, I just wanted to do something that I haven't seen. And I'm figuring it out every day, learning every day, you know?
How would you like for people out there who are not into therapy? What would you say to them to like convince them that it would be good to try that?
So Emmanuel, he's opposed to therapy.
I was thinking, where's that coming from?
To him, speak directly to him. Yep.
I think that's a good question.
Aren't you also, Brent?
Yes. For different reasons. Different reasons.
So I'd be very careful with this in terms of what's that saying? You can bring a camel to water, but you can't make them drink the water. Yeah.
Calling your donkey, bro.
So I don't like to convince people, but I would like them to understand and know that there is support out there, and what that looks like can really vary. So I understand, again, I keep on using my kind of culture, right? And I even work with people even recently that look like me, come from a similar background. And for them, what changed was like, hold on. So it's not just lying on a sofa and you just probing and asking me all these kind of questions, trying to just get into the depths of my mind and know all my trauma. It is not that. You come with a potential difficulty, maybe, right? We try to work through that together. I'm not going to push you somewhere you're not willing to go. I will challenge, right? But I still keep it within that window of tolerance, you know? But on top of that, it's not also knowing and going to therapy thinking, I need to have a real significant problem. I need to be depressed. I need to have this anxiety where I can't leave my house, or it looks different. And people sometimes see the extreme when it comes to mental health difficulties, and it's not always that. People can still go to work and still struggle. It's okay to talk. And I think in the UK specifically, it's so different compared to America. America, they use therapy as if it's like personal trainers.
Yeah.
Huh? And then they're not like, for example, like depressed to a point where they can't leave the house. They're literally like, oh, no, I'm going to call Brenda. I'm meeting Brenda this week. They literally have them on
call.
On call.
Basically, yeah.
And in the UK, I don't know, are we more like conservative at some point? I don't know what it is.
I don't understand
Very
the
different.
stigma. Yeah, it's weird to me because the thing is, I think like I've done bouts of therapy throughout my life, and I feel like I've used it for different things. And like one of the most helpful periods was when I had like a massive change to my company, and I just needed a space to think through things. And it's not that my therapist was a specialist in business or any of those kind of things, but I needed a place to think and a sounding board. And it was just so helpful, like honestly. So I feel like you can use it for different things. Yeah.
Why? Sorry, can you just address this comment so I can continue, please?
Big up Von. Von says, where do you work? I'd very much like to speak to you.
Okay, so you can get through to me at twapsychologycollective.com on my website. If you go onto the contact form, we can kind of take it from there and we can have a free, like, 15-20-minute conversation, and we can go from there.
Okay, he's an ex-gang member, mind you. I know he speaks like as though he's never been in the gang in his life. Reformed. Good morning. Welcome. I don't know who you are. I'm guessing that you are. He's been here before.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Oh, big up, welcome. Yeah, man.
Is that the
He's in the
guy
same
who
field.
was?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Come
I
on.
just tuned in.
Morning.
So bear with me. I just came back from drop off. I saw the title for Let Me Come In, and I've been hearing the gentleman speak. So apologies if I don't know your name. I just joined in. So can I get your name quickly?
So Dr. Shadiq Joseph.
Sadiq Joseph. I saw you use the window of tolerance, Dr. Siegel. I heard you say that. But yeah, good question. I wanted to give a question because obviously, yeah, I'm in the same field, so I'm still training, training counselor. So I'm at 2 placements. As much as we would like to encourage people to be in therapy, I think for those that want to actually get into therapy, because recently I've been looking at my course, and my course raise the fees. And they always talk about diversity. We want more diversity. Let me tell you this right now, yeah. Even my course alone, I can't pay for that, and I'm just lucky for the privileges that I have and the support that I'm able to pay for this. However, I wanted to see where you've come from, whereby how could people actually get into therapy to be a counselor, to be a therapist? Because I'm not just talking for black people, I'm talking for the Asians. Like, I was the only black male when I did my psychodynamic training at university, and when I went onto my course, yet again I was still the only black male in my course. So for people that actually want to get into this field, what would your advice be for those to get into this into this field?
Can you hold on to that, answer that, but at the end of basically telling everybody about your journey to where you are, please?
Sure.
Mhm.
So I started doing psychology since GCSE, so I've been studying it for a long time. So I've done it at every educational level possible. So GCSEs, A levels, undergrad. So I did psychology at Birmingham, did a master at King's, master's in mental health, and then my doctorate at UCL. So doctorate in clinical psychology. So if you're someone that's looking to get into clinical psychology specifically, which is a funded, government funded, so for 3 years you're paid at a band 6, all right? And for a lot of people, it's so coveted. It's like trying to get onto that is really tough because, as you said, it's paid for. So for a lot of us, and when I say us, I say for me specifically, there's no way I could have gone down like a counselling route because I know you guys have to literally fork out that money and pay for it yourself. Supervision, placement, you got to find it. That's extremely difficult, right? And it's not viable for so many people. So clinical psychology is now the route that so many people are literally gunning for because of those paid positions. So what I would say for people that look like us, clinical psychology is the route. How you get onto that, you need experience. So it's about getting those assistant psychology posts, work, doing support work and role. The difficulty is, and I think you're so right, is we speak about diversity and wanting it more in our profession. However, how many people can afford to have such a low paying job for a long time in order to get the experience needed to get to a doctorate? The only way and reason I was able to do that seriously is because I have my mum who has a council house that I can stay in. It was not feasible for me to do that otherwise. I worked as an assistant psychologist for a point, and I used to literally cycle to work, not because it was fitness. I told people fitness. I had no money. I was broke. I was saving £1.50, £3 a day, £4.50 instead of taking the bus because I knew I couldn't afford to do that. I used to walk to the gym 40 minutes one way. Yeah, I had to do it. But that's a sacrifice I was willing to make. But not everyone can do that. I have no dependents. I have no kids, so I could do that. I've spent my whole 20s chasing this career. I've only just qualified. I'm 29 now. So I've been doing this for 10 plus years, like literally chasing this.
Wow. Yeah, I just hit 30, and you're right. Like, pick up your journey as well. But interesting that you did that in secondary school. Like, I came into this whole sort of profession so way later. You know, it was for me. It was like a much later, and I already had kids. Like, you know, who. So yeah, I did my psychodynamic sort of training. But yes, you're right, for university. But wait, quickly, Dr. Sidi, did you say that you have to get experience before you sort of apply to do the 3 years at university? Is that what you're saying?
So yeah, for you to get to a doctorate, you have to usually have a minimum of 2 years working in the field. And there's a clause for a lot of universities, you have to have a certain grade in your undergrad. And it doesn't even matter if it's psychology, you could be doing, what's it called? Like some kind of physical science. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to have a minimum of 66%, I think it is, in your first degree. Otherwise, that rules you out straight off the bat.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people sometimes don't know that. So they might be thinking about doctorate and being in the bachelor's and not realizing, hold on, your grade right now is going to affect you in 5 years' time.
See, then so what encouragement does that give? Okay, you see what I mean about it being so, like, they talk about diversity is not, because what if you're a person that struggled in school and yeah, going through sort of clinical, so okay, you have to get a certain grade, where for me in my course, what I did, yes, I had to fork out a lot of money that I didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
But yet again, it wasn't necessarily about a grade, but it was more about your practice and who you are. Like you was very supported by your supervisors, by your tutors. Like, don't get me wrong, my course, as much as I've forked out a lot of money, they've done their due diligence to make sure that I was at the right placement. I had the right supervisor. I had the right tutor, and it wasn't. And obviously, you had to do essays in between that, but it was more about the person that you are, as well as your sort of academic sort of background, or you have to get this sort of grade. Of course, you have to have some sort of competencies, and obviously a lot of my course as well, there's a lot of contracts, about your competencies and so forth. Like, and then, when you have to do my training as my placement now, I had to send some audio recordings of my in my sessions, just to see how, my supervisor, my tutor will look at that and be like, okay, yeah, this is right, this is what we can improve on and so forth. At the same time, that's almost like 5 grand. You know, I mean, 5, 6 grand. Like I'm on my third baby, and obviously I'm trying to keep my calm and composure, but I'm still like, raw, like this is still a lot. Like, and I have to pay for this, and I have to pay for that. So I also almost think that. Do you think that our profession should be an apprenticeship, not as opposed to? And obviously, talk about yours,
Yeah.
because I know that's different. Because obviously, yeah, you went for a bachelor's and so forth. But just the whole counseling profession, for people to get in, should there be some sort of a 3 years apprenticeship? There's counselors already in the universities or in the course already, so you'll be supported for that. Your tutor and a supervisor that you don't have to pay for, because a lot of this money. I've done almost 80 hours of clinical hours. I have not got paid for niche. I'm not saying that I should get paid for that. I'm not. Obviously, it's very different because I'm very passionate about what we do. However, you're talking to people that are having, that have kids, or they need to, look after themselves. How could we do that? So is the apprenticeship moving forward? Should counselling be an apprenticeship as opposed to a bachelor's or so forth?
I agree. I think it should change. I think the system is broken. And from an early age, I noticed that I was fortunate enough to ask a lot of questions. So even though I wasn't in the positions, I asked so many questions that I knew my second and third step before it even happened. But I do agree. There should be a change in terms of how we get onto the doctorate or these kind of training programs, because there's no money in it beforehand. Like, there's none. And the ones where, for example, these AP positions, so assistant psychologist posts, that are paid, they're oh, they're so little. And what they've actually started to do now is they're making it a part of your bachelor's degree. So you have 1 year unpaid. So they're
Yeah.
putting that into the NHS. So these people go into the NHS, but then they're taking away the assistant posts. So people who are older, like graduates, there's less positions for you, and it's being given to these student psychologists, which is great. But that means now that the NHS are basically giving work out for cheaper at the expense of everyone who's now finished the degree. I can see what they're doing. I can see what they're doing. It's cheaper labor, basically,
Yeah.
but it puts a lot of people in a massive predicament. I've got people that message me over on TikTok nearly every day about what should I do. I can't afford to, for example, go down in pay to do certain roles because I've got bills, mortgages to pay. It's like, what should I do? I'm like, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's broken, and I haven't got an answer for it. I haven't got a solution. It is broken.
Yeah, no, I think it's absolutely crazy. I don't want to take much of your time, but yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Even my missus, she's doing a PhD. They
Mm.
recently, they obviously have to get funding, right? So, they're pushing to get funding. The university said no, we will happily fund maths and science instead. And then obviously the work that she's doing, she's talking about women's, reproductive health and everything. So she's written papers, but they don't want to fund those type of papers because obviously
Of
it
course they
doesn't
don't.
fit the sort of aesthetic of maths and science.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a tough profession. Big up you and congratulations of just graduating. I know it's been a long sort of chore over the years, but yeah, I think it's important that you're sitting in that chair right now and you're delivering this as well, because a lot of people need to hear this. And also, I want to encourage people to actually get into this profession. It's so important, whatever demographic you're from. I think this profession here is very important. You don't know how much people that really just to be relatable to someone. To see a brother come into my therapy room and him just thinking, "Rah, like I never thought therapy was like this," and for him to even after the sessions, because I work with the NHS, so I only do the 6 week sessions. But at the same time, he said after he was willing, he paid for counselling himself. and this is something that he said he never sworn to be in counselling. Like but that you just change the sort of perspective. So big up you, man, and congratulations, and big up, everybody here as well.
Did he communicate to you how you managed to change his perspective?
I think, do you know what it was? First and foremost, let's not get, like, to see a brother. Sometimes it's like a Spider-Man meme. Wait, what? Like, what you like? What, you talk like me, bro? Like, do you know what I mean? And then I think it was more of like, for him, he never knew that he can actually be very open. Like, he didn't know. Like, so as we was going through the sessions, he was bringing up stuff. It's like, oh yeah, this happened so and so, and that happened this, and this has affected me now. And I think the way he was able to, I call it map of meaning. So almost connecting the dots. I think that was really helpful for him. However, I work with the NHS, and it was only 6 weeks. So, and of course, because he didn't present as severe sort of needs, I did kind of encourage him, yeah, go to therapy after this, and and I think he said, yeah, I think he really enjoyed the sort of openness. He felt, and he said, I remember him saying he felt much lighter. So once he had that, and he was, I think that opened up that openness to therapy as well. Where when he first came, he was just there like, oh, bro, somebody told me to come. He said his mum told him to come, to go to therapy. Sorry. And he was like, yeah, I just did it because my mum. But then after, in the sessions, he realised, actually, it's not what I thought it was. And of course, Americans obviously not popularize, but they have a weird way of, the narrative of therapy is very different. And it's obviously in the shrinks or the Dr. Freuds, or you like Dr. Shadiq said, like, you sit down on a couch. It's not like that at all. Very different.
So what's it like though? So is it like I'm just sitting opposite you, or what? Yeah.
Having a conversation.
Emmanuel needs a stigma to be erased, so help him.
What's your barrier? What is?
I don't have no barrier,
Oh.
I just.
Okay, why do you not have a positive outlook on therapy? Why do you think that that's not something that you would go down that path?
Especially, I feel like therapy is very good. Yeah, I do feel like it does help people. Very
Not
much
just
so.
you.
But yeah, exactly.
No,
No, it is.
just not you.
Why
No,
don't you
it
think
probably
you could
could help
get?
me. It probably could help me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it will probably, I don't know, enlighten me about particular things, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like Welcome was saying, connecting particular dots, and probably help me to make better decisions in other areas, innit? So I'm aware of certain things, but at the same time, in terms of the whole, just saying certain things that's personal and offloading that to somebody else, I'm just not that type of person, innit? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not too sure if...
Let me ask you, is that a culture thing? Because in African cultures or Caribbean cultures, we're told you don't speak about your problems, you don't speak about certain things. So would that be necessarily not as opposed to you not speaking up in therapy, but more of a culture?
It might be, but if I'm being honest, I feel like I'm probably one of the worst. You know what I'm saying? If I'm being honest, it might just be me also. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really...
So don't you think you should unpack that?
Why?
Exactly. That's the thing. Just to explore. If you're curious, if you have a curious mind and you're forthright, as you say you are, what's the harm in exploring?
There's no harm.
Exactly. Did you see what I mean? There's a barrier there, and that's my curiosity is peaked at that barrier.
Okay.
You know.
I think the why is important. I think he's right. It's like, why? Everyone has to have a why. That's why I say I'll be very careful with convincing. I don't really believe in convincing people to do therapy, but I believe in finding your why.
Yeah.
And then we can really speak about it. But I wouldn't want to convince someone. But that's my personal take on it. Other therapists might think differently, but that's how I kind of.
And do you feel like a therapist must have certain credentials in terms of life experience, in terms of maybe exposure to different worlds, cultures, and things of that nature to kind of assist people? Because if not, what maybe differentiates a therapist from asking me questions and ChatGPT asking me questions? Do you know what I'm saying? For me to then unpack. No, do you get what I'm saying? Because obviously, one can ask ChatGPT questions, right?
Is
And
that what you're
ChatGPT. No, I'm not even saying it like in a bad way, but I'm asking.
People are now
No,
using,
they do.
This is what I'm saying.
which I think is insane to me.
Serious.
I think it's insane.
I think it's
You don't think-
helpful.
That's
like,
crazy.
if I be so real with you, like but I've been having just like forums for therapists where people are actually putting in how are people going about speaking to their clients about the use of ChatGPT. Because some people are entering therapy, but then between sessions they're using ChatGPT. So now there's a new thing where therapists are now, okay, hold on, how are we working with or against it? And people they don't know how to deal with it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the line is.
What the
But I
line
think
is.
it's simple. It's similar to people. They will go to the doctors anyway, but they'll look up their symptoms on Google and say, "I think I might have this, that type of thing." So I think it's like you could use it in that kind of way where you're presenting like, "Could it be this?" Or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kind of giving you insight into definitions of things or studies and things like that. I think it's helpful in that sense. I don't think you should rely on it
Yeah. Or try
at
and
all, but I
replace-
think I don't think it's a replacement because human connection is is key, is
100%.
king. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's really, really helpful. But I think for the people that can't maybe afford therapy as well or don't have the time, it can be helpful to say like, or little things as well, like how should I respond to this? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I mean? Like just getting a different perspective. I think it can be helpful.
Outsourcing your agency is crazy. Welcome.
I don't know if that's.
Yes.
No. I knew you were thinking.
I know because
No, I was.
because
God damn it! You look so cute with your glasses as well. Same mischief. Welcome. Do you code switch at work because you are aware that you're the only black man around? Do you feel a particular way?
Amazing.
Oh, who's that to?
Who's that to?
Welcome. Because I want to just. It's gonna go over to Shadiq just now. But do you code switch?
Yes, I code switch a lot. I code switch, but at the same time, no.
His side as well.
Sorry.
It's hard to explain because it's like it depends because I think even language is is so important as well, and especially the language nowadays has sort of changed. You got your Londoners that kind of speak the sort of slang and it's kind of gone into your sort of mainstream sort of vocab. So I don't really have to sort of code switch. I know there's a difference between when I speak to my boys versus my tutor, for example. But even with my tutor, I will say certain phrases because my tutor grew up in North London. She kind of understood about certain things. And I was happy to explain about code switching. I had done a presentation on black fathers in the UK at this current time with the modern day fathers. And I spoke about the language that we speak, and then a lot of people, my course, like they really understood that and they really got that, and that was really helpful. So yes, I code switch, but it depends. But I'm more or less, I kind of still speak the way I sort of speak, and that's even with clients as well. But yeah, it depends.
Your experience, Dr. Sadiq, rocking up to work, like, because you've presented quite formal today, right? Back straight, leg cross, and all sorts, And when Welcome was speaking, he had referenced that his client related to him because he spoke like him. Is this how you present to your clients?
In terms of
As
posture?
professional and yeah.
I am super chilled. So people that work with me, they quite quickly realize any kind of pretense you have in terms of very formal, I drop that at the door. I'm quite relaxed, chilled, bubbly, like to have a joke. In terms of code switching, if I'm being so real, I definitely do that. Reason I say that, I've been in England for a long time now and been navigating these systems. I know my audience. So for example, respectfully, if I'm speaking to white middle class older lady, I have like a work tone.
I just winced.
If that makes sense.
Can you put it on?
I put it on.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't seen it yet.
I thought this was it.
Oh, is it?
My TH are being pronounced.
Yeah.
You get it?
The other side then.
So yes, so I know how to speak in those arenas for sure. However, in terms of my therapy, just as our guest was just mentioned, when I speak to someone from my culture, it naturally just goes away, and we start to speak very, very normal. Especially when I spoke to someone like, oh, I'm from Trinidad, and then their demeanor changed. You can actually see the shift in therapy where their shoulders kind of drop. How they speak to me changes. The patois comes out because they know I understand now, and that just shifts therapy. So yes, I do code switch, but it's like if someone comes to me speaking Spanish and I know Spanish, I speak it. So if I can speak in that dialect to someone and it's going to be received, I can do that.
Do you know it's a double-edged sword? You
It
know the
is.
gentleman that I was speaking about. He gave me £50 at the end of the session,
Ooh.
and obviously he can't do that.
Mm.
Like, I was like,
What's that?
I was like, nah, I couldn't believe it. Like,
That's how you know it was so comfortable.
Sorry.
You can't do that.
asking, can we have extra sessions?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
People, like, they start giving you gifts, and it's like, it's like, and you have to be aware of the therapeutic relationship.
Yeah.
This is not. I'm not your friend. I'm not like you can't cross those boundaries, because once you cross those boundaries, it's unethical, and I think it's not part of our competency. So when even that £50, don't get me wrong, I wanted to take that £50 immediately. Quickly. I saw that £50 was clean. I said, but I couldn't. I spoke to my placement manager and said, this is what happened, and I had to give it back. I had to give it back.
It's so difficult. Like,
Man said he had to give it back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
he
allowed.
touched it. He said thanks.
Bro, it's unethical, bro. I don't want bro. I'm not paying how much for X money for someone to give me £50, and then next thing you know, they tell you, yeah, you can't practice anymore. What the hell?
Now,
You know what I mean?
what I'm saying is that, like, you took it. He pulled out some money and you said that.
No, you know what it is? Brent, I froze. I can't lie. He gave me the high five thing. You know, it's like, oh, thank you very much. It was our last session. He was like, thank you very much. And he gave me a high five. And I saw it. I kind of saw something in his hand. Boom.
What
And
kind-
then he said, in a bit.
what kind of high five was it? Them one.
Yeah.
Is it them, was it?
right in the palm.
He said, hold that. You're trouble.
I'm telling you, it was tough, man. And I can't lie. I went downstairs and I placed it right in the middle of the table. Everyone's looking at me like, what's going on? Obviously, I'm trying to be theatrical here, but yeah. And I said, yeah, my client and he said, no way, they gave you £50. So that's never happened at this placement. Right. This envelope, we need to put an envelope. We need to give it back. Welcome. Did he give you anything else? I was like, no. So yeah.
Oh, man.
Problem. So you have to blur the lines as well. Sometimes being too relatable as well can be a bit cautious. That's why, as well, I think he also mentioned boundaries. Setting boundaries with your clients is very important. So when you do that, when you first meet them, you have to let them know what this really is, bro.
Welcome. Before you go, you mentioned that you did a presentation on modern fatherhood.
Yes, you can check on my YouTube channel. Let's Talk Everything. I showcased my presentation on that as well. So yeah, you can check that out there.
Wonderful. I know before you kind of didn't want to say any medicinetics. Would you be interested in taking part in a community service episode with Dr. Mani and also Dr. Shadiq if you were up for it?
I will. Have you seen my name? My name's Welcome. I'll be. Welcome.
All right. I'll contact you afterwards. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Big up you and big up everybody else.
You too.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Good conversation.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Big up, Welcome, man. All right, I did want to ask you though, yeah, because obviously Welcome just mentioned about the whole familiarity thing. Right?
Before you ask that question, there was a question I favorited and not go past it too tough. Here we go.
Big up, Izzy. Izzy says, should therapy be seen as a temporary or a permanent part of somebody's self-help? To me, a permanent view is like expecting your knee to get stronger without taking off the knee brace. Should it be seen as permanent or temporary?
Great question. The NHS and how it's built in terms of therapy, right? They would kind of package it into like sessions of 6, sessions of 12. There's always a limit. So we have been trained and literally conditioned to give short-term therapy. Long-term therapy is not something that we think that exists or we think it's wrong somehow. Especially like what was just mentioned in terms of it's like expecting your knee to heal without having a brace. I think take a brace. However, in private, it's very different. I remember when I was coming through training, I was like, how do you have someone on your thing for months and years? How is that possible? What's your goal? What are you working towards? Like, why are they so dependent? But in private therapy, it's very, very different in terms of some people want you for certain crises that might happen in their life. And they just might want like 1 or 2 sessions in 3 months' time when it happens. And like, keep you like on a retainer. I'll call you again when something happens, like the American system.
Yeah.
So, should it be temporary or permanent? The NHS will tell you it's temporary. in terms of we give you the tools, equip you with it, and then you fly your wings, test it out, and you have that kind of autonomy. In the private world, it's still structured in a way where it's goal focused, sometimes, depending on what school of psychology you're doing. But it's way more longer term, is what I've realized. People use you as if, like, you know, I've got your number in my phone now. I'll call you as and when required. In NHS, that doesn't allow for that. If you want to re-refer, that's going to take months down the line. And they might even say, you've seen us twice now. What's going on? This obviously is not effective. But you might say, actually, it is effective. It's just I need you at certain points in my life. Why can't that be allowed?
What would you say to somebody who might think the private sector potentially is so money driven that potentially psychologists are encouraging their clients and whatnot to stay and be like, come back again and X, Y, Z? Or is that not a thing?
No. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I think that's a thing. I used to be before I came into the sector. But, you know, sometimes it's driven by the clients as well, and it's no one's fault, right? But what I would say is, even I get calls sometimes, and they'll say, how many sessions do you recommend? And they're looking for like a 10 to 15 block. I said, 10 to 15? I don't even know. Are you sure? And I say, actually, let's say 4 to 6, and let's see if it's working for you, if it's beneficial. And then from there, we can work towards whatever it is. But don't lock yourself into 10 to 15. You don't even know if me and you really gel. However, I know typically, as I said, this is clients coming to you, and they're saying, okay, so how much for 10? I said, 10? Because we are so used to like a model in the NHS. Like, okay, if it's this specific difficulty, we're going to be working 10 to 12 sessions, but this is what is the first line of treatment. We're so used to one protocol in the NHS. You go to private and clients are like, okay, I want you for 15. 15? How do you know what I'm delivering yet? It really does change. It's so different.
So that kind of goes into my question that I had earlier about familiarity and things of that nature. So you've got all the skills of a psychologist, but let's just say you need therapy.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Oh, that's a good question. What am I looking for? See that question for me again.
All right.
It's so good. I need it twice.
You've already got like the knowledge and stuff, right? But what are you looking for in a therapist that could serve you?
Serve me.
Yeah.
For me personally, someone who is willing to drop potentially all the structures that they've been taught and actually see the person in front of them.
Okay.
So I don't want to see you kind of fumble over trying to force a model down my throat or a technique. First and foremost, I'm a human. Speak to me on that level and use your expertise that you've learned. But don't go based off of this model and what I've learned. Use your skills integratively, but see me for who I am. And I think even me, sometimes when I do therapy, I said I'm always learning. Sometimes you just need to drop all these things, your notepad, all these barriers that's in therapy, and just listen to the person. Actively listen. You pick up on a lot. Stop taking, okay, for me. Stop trying to take down all the notes of what's important. That's just a barrier. Put it down. Listen. You've got here for a reason. You've got skills. Lean on that.
And would you be looking for somebody from a particular demographic, certain age group, certain gender, race, culture? Like what sort of, you know what I mean? Like what sort of roles does that all play?
I think it's for many, not many, for a lot of people, I think it plays a big part. So in a lot of the directories or directors these days, you can actually filter these things.
Okay.
So for me personally, I'll be looking, we can do therapy on this actually. I'll more likely look for a female. This is me actually saying this. I'll more likely look for a female of my kind of background, Caribbean, is what I would look for personally.
Why?
In terms of which part? The female or Caribbean?
Both.
Female. We'll see. I'm going to go into therapy now. I have my own blind spots, I believe. So I grew up in a household where I'm one of 5. So I grew up with 3 sisters, a mother. So when I left Trinidad, that was kind of my household, my brother. I'm the youngest of 5. So I grew up with a Caribbean mother who was she was strict, but she also taught me to be extremely independent and not to depend on anybody, which is good to an extent in some elements, but very bad in others. And it's only as an adult I speak to her now, and I'm like, you know what you taught me, even though you did it out of a position of this is how you survived, you've taught me to not, for example, let someone in, if that makes sense. So I could potentially make a woman feel that they're not needed because I was brought up to, you can cook for yourself, you can clean, you can do all these things. So then,
So what do I need you for? Kind of thing.
but they need to go one step further. If I can't, for example, open up to a woman as well. So hold on, so I don't need you for emotional security or kind of someone to bounce stuff over, nothing. So I think me personally, I'll go for a female just to kind of open that element up of actually, you can allow someone to feel wanted. You don't need to just be so, I have to do everything on my own. In terms of Caribbean, it's just because I don't think many people understand. I'm like a first generation. I was born in a different country and I came over here. So a lot of people my age are like second or third generation potentially. I usually get on with their parents because we can vibe with them and I can really talk to them about where I live, loads of different things. So I find myself in a weird predicament in terms of being a Caribbean out here, being so young, but being someone who's actually migrated themselves. I didn't really think about it until I got a little bit older, but it does play like quite a big part in how I think, like I have real strong memories of being home. I called that home. I don't look at here as home, which is strange because I spent most of my life here now.
Yeah.
But
How come you've lost the accent and Brent hasn't?
so when I came when I was 6 or 7, I used to get made fun of when I first came because I used to Anthony, not Anthony. Like I still struggle. I actually have to really think when I speak. Like genuinely, I have to really think. Like even me saying think, I have to think about this. I have to slow down my rate of speech because back home we speak real quick. So even now I'm actively thinking about it. Mum used to tell me when I first came here, son, slow down. They won't be able to understand you. So even now when I'm working, I have to slow down. It's an active thought. It hasn't left me, but my accent did real quick.
All right, that same question I asked you, for somebody who's not experienced now, who's not an expert, who, for example, like me, for example, what should I be looking for? Like, what sort of things should one identify in themselves that they think the therapist will be the best match for, if that makes sense? So you might be somebody who's, I don't know, somebody who, all intents and purposes, the world might consider toxic, right? You know the whole toxic masculinity. It's not true, but yeah, you get me. Right.
That's a big statement there.
Should you be trying to find somebody like a strong male, or maybe a woman that can maybe challenge you on that, or a man that would maybe, I don't know, maybe tweak certain things, if that makes sense? Like, what sort of things should you kind of identify about yourself to then find somebody that can assist in the overall picture of therapy?
I think that'd be really hard to find. You'd have to have so much insight into like your own kind of patterns, which most people don't. Even myself, usually someone needs someone to kind of put, metaphorically speaking, like a mirror up in front of them for them to see. Even though you think you really know some of those kind of like blind spots or what you're struggling with, it'll be really hard to kind of identify all those things and then try to find that in a profile that's just written, So I always kind of encourage people, like, it might take a few goes of you speaking to someone to find the right one. And what you think you might want might not be the thing that you want in reality. So I know sometimes my friends come to me sometimes and I know they hate my answers sometimes 'cause I'm not giving them an answer. I'm kind of putting it back on them to take onus of it and actually realize it might take a few times of you having those 15, 20-minute conversations and getting a vibe for someone and being like, maybe, maybe not. But don't rest all your kind of, okay, I talked to this one person, it has to work. Like, treat it as anything else. No, try different people. Call, see what the vibe is, what they can offer. And you usually can get like in a 20-minute conversation, you can get a vibe for someone.
Okay. Okay.
I tend to find what you just said, that whole try different people, but I feel like you don't really get that luxury here.
In terms
Because-
of
Finding like,
Wait, if you're paying yourself though.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, if
But
I'm
you
trying,
get consultations for free. So
But
you get the first session
especially,
usually for free.
I feel like speaking for black, if I'm looking for, I feel like it's really niche. If I'm looking for a black therapist, anyway, and then talk less of like, because I've had therapy before, and obviously, funny enough, the woman you guys had on ages ago, she was challenging you to get in.
Ngozi?
Yes.
Okay.
No, she had the she had
Shout out Ngozi.
Yeah.
she had her network. She doesn't do it no more. I think she closed it. Yeah, so I got it from via her. So she had like other black therapists or whatever. So I was able to kind of I found someone on the black. I think it's like a
BAA.
yes.
Yeah.
So I found someone on there, but I tried like paid for sessions and stuff like that, and I just thought, no, this ain't gonna work. I need someone, like respectively, she was Caribbean, and I just feel like she just didn't understand. I didn't get. So I was like, now I need an African to understand what I'm actually saying. So obviously I luckily found it and went through that, but I just feel like I stuck with her. But I just feel like you just don't have that, because when you're looking for specific, I guess, tick boxes, that's really hard. Like I feel like obviously if you're a white person or you there's a plethora, and already there's like as you said, there's a barrier of entry for even people in your position. So for me to just be hopping from one person to another to find that, I just don't feel like that's even. We don't have that luxury. So
it's work.
Yeah.
It is work.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
and that's a labor in itself.
Yeah.
'Cause when you're trying to find that person to stick with, because you also want to feel comfortable with the person that you're speaking, and you want to obviously feel like your needs are kind of getting met. So obviously, you can get a free consultation, but okay, it's like that didn't really give me enough. So then you pay for a thing, and then it's like you've paid maybe for like 3 sessions, like money, and it's like, nah, I didn't like this. Then you start the process. I feel like that's quite an exhausting
It is.
thing to go through.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you're finding a job, like you doing interviews. Yeah, like it's.
But I guess like it is work. I definitely agree with that. But I think it is worth it, like to put in those hours and put in that time to kind of find the right person, because once you do, it's just so beneficial and it's so enriching, and I think like you'll feel better after. Do you know what I mean? So I think but I think it is good to highlight like it's not going to click straight away.
Yeah.
More than likely,
Yeah.
it's not going to click straight away, and you have to keep trying. If it's not working, keep trying.
I think you're right. It's definitely like a job, for sure. But I think we still need to prioritize like our well-being, like mentally. If you think about it, if we went privately and we was trying to get like a hospital appointment for a broken leg, even though it's exhausting, we'll do it, right? So then why? I'm not saying you, by the way, but generally speaking, why when it comes to mental health difficulties or people's well-being, we kind of put it on the back burner? It's as important, you know.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you feel that you need help with women. Why? And
Why?
When did he mention that?
that is what I paraphrased.
Sorry, I was so confused.
I'm very proud. Bro,
to the light, isn't it?
what we doing there?
Basically, you said you got everything. You get me? You don't need a woman. But so why would you go seek help? Right? If you realize you don't need a woman, like what are you going looking for help for?
Look, so let's clarify this. Let's clarify this. Because what we're not going to do here is. So what I said is, I can sometimes make someone feel as if they're not needed, and of course, in a companionship, that's not what you want. You know, you want that person that obviously you care for and want to be with to feel needed, wanted, and cared for. So, that being said, I would see a therapist for something along those lines in terms of just opening up that part from being brought up from a single mother.
But you said specifically a woman therapist, yeah. What does it have to be that? Is that just for you personally? Does that kind
This is for me.
yeah, just like Because it's interesting
Mm.
because like surely a man should be able to help advise you on that particular issue as well, because the therapist, although she's a woman, isn't necessarily going to be talking from her own perspective. Do you know what I mean? So that's interesting.
For sure. I think it's still down to preferences. I remember what I said. Just because I said it doesn't mean it's going to be true in reality. I can get to be like, maybe not. So it would always change. This is only
But
for
don't
me.
you have therapy though?
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
But don't
The
not at
difference.
no time do you
No.
have to? Oh, okay.
He has to speak about this. So
Okay,
it's
go on.
different. So for clinical psychology,
Yeah.
it's recommended.
Okay.
Right? So I had therapy in the past. It's recommended, but it's not like
Mandatory.
no, it's not mandatory at all. In the counselling world,
Interesting.
It's
you
mandatory.
have to do it. In clinical psychology, it's wild.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it. So someone can actually do
That's crazy.
give therapy for years on end and then have never stepped in and been the person on the other side. And don't worry, I sound probably very judgmental saying that. But there's like an understanding from most people that train that say it's good to go. Even if you're not going saying, oh, I need X, Y, and Z. Just understand the process. There are things that you're probably somewhere in the mind, that you can speak about.
Yeah.
But it's not mandatory at all.
Would you expect, somebody who's known, so let's just say, I don't know, maybe a Kanye West or somebody who has a...
Oh, God. What an example.
He's a team of therapists.
just somebody who's kind of known,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to actually, like, seek therapy. Yes, like, obviously it will make sense, right? But in terms of, do you feel like there will be a barrier of somebody needing to make sure that that therapist knows how to be discreet? And how do you ensure that that person that you can be discreet?
Okay, that's a great question. What I would say is there are notable people in the public, famous, whatever you want to call them, that have therapy, even NHS-wise. But you just never know. And even for example, within our teams, there's ways of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a need-to-know basis. If it's like a high kind of figure, we won't know the details or their names or whatever. We might discuss certain things, but we'll never know who it is. And it's kind of like, it's really hard to describe, but you can't get in. You can't see the files or whatever. It's only the therapist and like one other person. And you've got to sign certain things, and it's not allowed to go anywhere. So in terms of this is people working NHS. Privately, you would set up something similar. So whether it's like some kind of NDA disclosure kind of thing, but
Illegal, no?
that?
Like
What's that?
you can't share like
Yeah.
medical
But-
information. That's what it will go under, or no?
So if let's say someone works in my hospital, teams should be able to see your information, but only certain information.
Okay.
So let's say someone comes to see me in NHS, only people that can see their notes that I write is myself and my team. The rest of the hospital only see, for example, if they attended and when the next session is. That's all they see. The only time that changes is if there's risk,
Yeah.
which, to themselves or others. That's the only time it changes. But in the case of notable figures, it's completely barred. Like, you can't see anything that they're even accessing. Only need to know people would know.
Have you, since been in therapy to fix your problem with women,
Brent, off air, me and you, right?
have you allowed someone to cook for you now?
So sorry?
Have you allowed someone to cook for you now?
I see what you're doing here, Brent, I see.
Diabolical word.
Brent, I see what you're doing here. I don't like you're laughing.
Fair. Let's get through a couple of questions, right? Let's get through a couple of questions. The first one.
All right, so Fernand says, can you please ask how to choose the appropriate therapy type? So I've been stuck at this step for a minute. And when you're not in crisis mode, but after general self-improvement, I'm lost.
Yeah. So how to choose appropriate therapy? So I'll probably want to ask you in terms of, are you looking for something that's more goal focused? Are you going into therapy thinking, okay, there's this one particular thing that I want support with? Or are you going in there thinking, okay, I want it to be a bit more exploratory? So what I mean by that is, are there patterns, for example, in childhood that might be kind of poking the head out a little bit as an adult, and you're having a few difficulties? We can't really pinpoint what it is. If so, there's two different approaches. So more directive kind of approach. So you're looking at your more cognitive behavioral therapy, very goal focused. You do tasks and you get tools and get equipped with those kind of skills. Or the latter, so more exploratory. You're looking at a more counselling type approach, is what I'd say. Counselling psychology, clinical psychology can also do the same thing. But you're looking for something where, when you speak to them, can you, for example, can we take it as the sessions go by, if that makes sense? So we explore what's happening for you live that week, that day, or whatever it is. And there's people that are skilled to do that. So you have goal focused, structured, more CBT work. And then you've got more exploratory work, which clinical psychologists can do. Counselling psychologists, that's really their bag, if I'm being honest with you. So that's what I would say.
All right.
Gardener Zach, big up Gardener Zach. He says, what does Dr. Shadiq think about the male loneliness pandemic and the conversation Stephen Bartlett had on his podcast about intervention?
I don't know this conversation, but someone mentioned the Stephen Bartlett stuff that's going on. Can someone...
I don't even.
He
I don't watch it.
basically said, let me make sure I can remember, or correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But he said that because there are this pandemic, that there should be maybe like processes and procedures to help those people find partners. That's what he was saying, and he got a lot of backlash because it's like these people who maybe have issues, why they're not in relationships in the first place, why are you taking that kind of approach that they should be given almost like systems we should be put in place where they have partners rather than them working on themselves. That was kind of like, I think that's in a nutshell.
Oh, was that what the male loneliness?
Well, that was the
pandemic
conversation. They're basically the male loneliness is like, apparently there's some would you call it, polls that have been done, and it's like at all-time high, and would you call it, like less the young men are having sex, less young men are in relationships and that sort of thing. So yeah, so he was trying to address that, but he done it in a way that's not like, what about the women? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like prioritizing them. That's what he got backlash for. That's my understanding.
My understanding when I hear that term, I just thought it was linked to just how men feel lonely in general. So nothing to do with like in a romantic relationship, kind of just how I guess isolated they feel on talking or being vulnerable. That's what obviously that's what I just thought. I didn't realize it was so much attached to being
relationships and not having sex. That's
and to me, not anyway.
I think it's multifaceted. I think each thing would bleed into each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think he got in trouble. There was something else there was someone else on his podcast that said something wild recently as well over Christmas, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, anyway.
just based on that sounds quite problematic. To say we can solve this by giving them women.
But he didn't say that.
That sounds...
He didn't say that. He was implying. The person he was interviewing. He was implying, like, should this be a suggestion? Like, do you know what I mean? Or not. He didn't say it in those kind of words, but he just said, like, should processes be put in place? But what does that mean?
What does that
like,
mean?
what exactly? That's what the person should have pushed back on him and say, what do you mean by that?
Is it like more like societal structures?
I don't know when they're
Teaching them how to talk to women and stuff. It might be stuff like that. No, because look.
So that's the intervention.
No, it's a big thing, you know.
Speak about it.
Because the reality is, men need women. That's just the reality. Women need men too. You know what I'm saying? And if you've got a situation where a lot of men feel like they can't speak to women, approach women, be partners to women, purpose is out of the window. So you're out here just wandering about, like, you know what I'm saying? What's going on? So I understand where Bartlett's coming from what you said. You know what I'm saying?
Just gonna,
I'm just gonna let you let go. You go.
I feel like I'm on the, I'm on the ground.
The tarmac.
Yeah, man.
All right, so next one.
Okay, big up Zyme. He says, as a therapist, do you feel people overstep their boundaries with you? Example, midnight calls, things of that nature.
I haven't. Again, I'm only like a month in, but I wouldn't accept that, me personally. So my phone would be on do not disturb, and it will be written out as well. So stuff like that. If you have access to my mobile numbers, it will be quite statemented what's that for, and the purpose of it. So yeah, I wouldn't accept something like that. But I know there are services for certain kind of population demographics where they do have like access to a therapist, and they pretty much can kind of call anytime. But that's very specific to that program, if that makes sense. But that wouldn't be something that I would be offering. Definitely not.
What do you think about BetterHelp?
No.
Your thoughts on that? Are you a part of that? Are you a therapist on there, or do you think it's because it's like literally you can literally sign up and get any therapist, and you just don't even know anything about them really? What are your thoughts?
Can you
Obviously, you
first-
don't want to block any future brand deals, but
Nah.
Yeah, I was just
clarify?
firstly,
Yeah.
can you
Go ahead.
define BetterHelp?
oh,
Yeah.
BetterHelp is an online platform for therapy, so anybody can sign up and get a therapist, kind of within minutes.
Okay.
And you kind of do a few tick boxes, and you have virtual sessions. They can be video calls or they can be audio. I believe, yeah. And you can stop and start at any time. And if you don't like your therapist, you can change it as well very quickly.
So what I would say is,
So
allegedly.
the speed dating for therapists.
Why does it have to be seen that way?
I don't know. I don't know if speed dating, but yeah, I get
That's
what
how
you
it comes
mean.
across to me.
It's like low barrier to entry.
Entry.
Yeah, very very.
Yeah,
low
because I'm
barrier
always
to
hearing it, and to be honest, even just how it's marketed, and everything, that me personally puts me off. That
Yeah.
I would never use that as a. I would that's not.
Why?
It just like I said, it just seems like a speed date. Like it's just like a very like a conveyor belt of just. I don't know. Am I getting? I don't know if I'm gonna get.
A good quality.
Yeah, good quality.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I like that's interesting. So what I would say is, allegedly, how you said it's like a
Low barrier to entry.
low barrier to entry. Allegedly, I think that also goes for the therapist that get not that all therapists. And again, allegedly, I don't know if it's true or not, but what I remember hearing is that how they regulate who, for example, stands up as a therapist was quite broad.
Right.
So, in the most respectful way, you could have someone that, I'll give you how broad it is. You could have people that have done like a college course for a few weeks, counsellor. I'm on BetterHelp.
Oh wow.
Serious?
Can you see?
Allegedly.
So I can get a job there too.
But do you see what I mean? In terms of being regulated, right?
Yeah.
And then what people don't realise, and this is for the public, is HCPC registration, not all titles are protected. So I could say I'm a psychologist from just doing a bachelor's degree.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But for the general public, you might not know that. So I can go on somewhere and be like, I'm a psychologist, and they're not lying to you. And then you're like, oh yeah, I've been seeing a psychologist. I said, what's their registration number?
Yeah, exactly.
What registration number? Huh? It's like a wild, wild west. It's not right. And I think the public should know that people are trained to do this. And there's some people, respectfully, who are on their path still, but are going out there and saying they do these things and advertising, and it's not right. So for BetterHelp, I have actually, again, from my own personal opinion, with my friends when they've come to ask me for family members and X, Y, and Z, I've never,
Recommended.
ever. And until things change that I know of, I wouldn't.
Okay.
That's me though.
Christy, do you agree with this statement?
Women don't really need men. I mean, it's great if you do, but we can live without men. She's speaking for herself. That's not my story.
Big up, Christy.
That's not my story at all.
Hey Maya.
That's not my. I'm of the belief that we definitely need each other. If you can live without a man, kudos to you. Again, that's not my ministry. I believe that God put us on this earth for a reason, and we coincide together for a reason. That's just me though. So,
How about you, Manuel?
We 100% need women. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And women need us.
No, that wasn't the question.
Okay, pardon me. Yeah, women 100% need us. It's a fact. I don't need to tell you why right now, but 100%, man. Like Richie said, like God made us this way for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a case of every single woman needs to be with a man or a man every. You know what I'm saying? But just the interaction, relationship, friendship, all that sort of stuff is necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary. That's how I see it anyway.
No, like I said, for me,
know,
it's a need for me. Sorry.
I'm not necessary. Who could have? Thank you, Julie. That is my number one reason.
Why you need
them
men?
around. Kill the spiders. That's in the pros list. That's number one.
Fair.
But yeah, I don't know if it's absolutely necessary. But here we can't get rid of ya. Do you know what I mean? So you know.
Big up Natty. He says, what does the guest think about ex-service users becoming therapists? When I went years ago, my therapist was one, and her mental health issues stopped her from doing a couple of sessions and put me off.
Oh.
So what does the guest think about exceptions?
Interesting.
My question would be like, why should that stop someone from pursuing a career in therapy if they, for example, have their own difficulties? Like, we're all human.
Yeah.
Like therapists, we aren't like a superhuman, you know? We all go through things. So my personal opinion, there shouldn't be no bar if you struggle with certain mental health difficulties that you shouldn't be able to become a therapist.
Should it maybe be after a certain amount of time though? So for example, if that's disturbing his, you know what I'm saying, his sessions.
I don't want to know.
That's different.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I think as a user, I don't want that. I don't want my therapist. I don't want their mental health. I know this is selfish. Mental health issues to get in the way of the service that I'm receiving. No, I do not want that.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't.
This is the reason why I've not gone to therapy.
Oh my
If
goodness.
I wanted to be a
It's
therapist, I want to be able to be yours. You'll say no.
There's plenty of people out there.
But do you get what I'm saying?
Do you know what I mean? But like honestly, I don't think I would want that. That's interesting. Like, yeah.
Funny story. I got corrected. I think it was a month or so ago, maybe 2 months. Right? You know when Emeka came on, and he was talking about his brother being sectioned, right? And then went on to say that his brother is now a professor at university. That spun my head.
Yeah.
Especially the lead up to how he got sectioned.
Yeah.
And Dr. Manu was telling me, no. What? Just because he got sectioned, that doesn't mean that he's always going to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know that, but I don't want it. The question was, is it interfering with your service? Yeah, I don't want that.
Okay.
I don't want to, like, I'm doing therapy and then my therapist gets sectioned. No, I don't want that. That's not a what. That's not for the purposes of the
because
discussion.
what if I'm in the session?
Yeah, and then you
she's-
have it.
No,
I need to
she's
help
getting
you.
triggered.
Yes,
by what I'm saying.
Trigger you.
No, then I have to become the therapist. And no,
But then I realise they're getting triggered by
What am I paying
I'm-
for?
Nah.
No.
I'm paying for you to help me, not the other way around.
Hey guys, save space and we can listen. No, but there's two things we're speaking about here. One, for someone to have experience of mental health difficulties, and the second thing is for someone's mental health difficulties to get in the way of the work they're providing to someone. So the latter, I'm with you, I understand. So from the time they're having difficulty and it's actually affecting their work, literally right in the present moment, let's take a break.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we look after you first and then get back to doing what you deservedly can do. But the first part, if someone can have these kind of experiences and be a therapist, there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
But actually, now I'm thinking about it, the question said it started to affect their sessions and put you off, and that's fair. In terms, I understand your opinion on that for sure, but we can't really choose when these things happen, you know. So I hope the therapist is okay, and I hope you can, or you did find someone after that.
All right, next question.
Big up Yvette. Yvette says, does Dr. Shadiq see patients and prescribe mental health medication? And if yes, how hard is that?
So no, I do not prescribe medication. So that's what a psychiatrist does. So a psychologist, we more so do like the differentials. So what I mean by differentials is, for example, within a team, we might have someone that presents in a certain way and they think, okay, this looks like textbooks X, Y, and Z. And we come in with our knowledge because we kind of trained in a multitude of different difficulties. We say, however, also this could be a sign of X, Y, and Z. So we kind of widen the scope and bring a bigger picture of actually, let's not just hone in on one potential kind of outcome for this. There could be like an array.
Like a
Unless-
second opinion. Or-
Yeah, basically. But yeah, psychiatry is the ones that prescribe medication. So you have to go to do medicine first, and then you specialize after a few years, and you go do your psychiatry kind of like specialist training. So that's a psychiatrist's job.
Makes sense.
So, how valuable is your signature on like medical paperwork if you can't give people drugs and stuff? Like, what can I do? I can't use it for a plug for anything, can I? God damn it!
Don't trigger me now. Don't trigger me now, bro. Is this a question?
Yeah.
Yes. So big up Izzy. He says, in the same way Dr. Shadiq might have a preference for a woman therapist, do you think you work at your best with certain types of clients? And if so, what type and why?
Oh, great question. One I never really thought about. Naturally, well, not naturally, but I feel like I gravitate more towards working with like teens and adolescents. I just think they're just amazing to work with. They're so raw, and they really tell you sometimes what is they're feeling, what they're seeing. I think in terms of what I work best with, I couldn't tell you that. I see everyone over the few years that I've worked, or many years that I've worked. I've seen a lot of different people, and there's not no particular demographic or difficulty that I kind of say I work best with. For sure, I have challenges, but that's not down to, for example, any particular characteristic of that person. It's just whatever's being brought, whatever difficulty they're kind of going through at the time.
Do you have also? Is there another question?
Just one last one. That's Christy though.
Big up Black Rob. This directed to Christy. He says, how did you go about finding a new therapist?
Obviously, I don't have one at the moment. At that time, when I wasn't happy with the first person I had, it was I kind of took a break. I can't lie, that kind of put me off. And then it was around the time of lockdown, COVID 2020. So, basically, I think it was a chain of events. So I think lockdown happened first, and then George Floyd happened, isn't it? Because George Floyd happened in lockdown, isn't it? Yeah. So it was peak George Floyd saga, and I think obviously around that time it was just obviously everyone's at home, all of that. People had a visceral reaction to that, well, especially black people.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden in the UK, is like, we now acknowledge that there's racism in the UK, like there wasn't before. But for some reason, that made it very glaring that we got a racism issue in the UK, and I think that's when it people just started talking about therapists and the black people, just like the fatigue, all of that kind of thing, and that's when a lot of people were searching for, like, where do we find black therapists? Where do we find black therapists? And again, that's where Ngozi popped up, and I saw her. I just saw it on Instagram actually, and I thought, oh, let me just check it out. Check it out. They were saying that they cater obviously to specifically for black people, and obviously I'm BOE, black over everything. So that was a selling point to me. So and I just kind of went from there, and you go through some, obviously. They like ask you what you're looking for, all that kind of stuff, initial kind of thing, and then you get paired. I got matched with someone, and I eventually stuck with her. So, but I'm not with her now. So,
All right. I believe it was the other day, Shadi mentioned something about the New Year's and stuff,
Oh yes.
which I think is an amazing point, right? So basically, we wanted to ask you about new beginnings, right? What is it about new beginnings from a therapy perspective, mental health perspective, that kind of helps people, right? And number two, since we just started a new year, what can people do to kind of, I don't know, get themselves on track to prepare themselves for the unknown of 2026?
I believe there's two questions there.
Yes.
What's the first one, sir?
New beginnings. What is it about new beginnings that people kind of gravitate to and feel like that new lease of life, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, from a mental health perspective.
I feel like there's something about kind of kind of take it back to kind of church in a sense. You know, like baptism, you kind of like
Mm-hmm.
with the old in with the new kind of thing. So it's kind of like that. So all the struggles, the difficulties, whatever it is like you might have been going through, it's like, okay, I'm putting a line in the sand, and what, for example, was in the future now, this is it. I'm gonna go on this new line, positivity. What happened before, it's not gonna be over me. I'm not gonna be carrying it. I'm a new person, and this is the new mindset. So when it comes to new beginnings, I think that's what, for me personally, when I'm thinking about it, a lot of it is just dropping all that difficulties, negativity potentially, struggle that we've gone through in the past year or how many years, and saying, okay, right, I'm letting that go. It's something about actually putting that into the world in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and speaking it into existence. Like, I'm letting that go, and this is the new me.
And I guess the second question, what can people kind of do, like starting this new year, to kind of make sure, I don't know, they're kind of conscious of, you know what I mean, like the extremes and how to keep themselves in check and just the checks and balances of the mind, if that makes sense, going forward.
You know what? New year, new me, new kind of goals. I try to be careful because sometimes it could put so much pressure on people. So when I think about it, when I hear people kind of speak about it, first thing I'm thinking is that you're kind of putting this expectation, this kind of standard that you kind of have to achieve. And sometimes I'm worried about, okay, these goals, everyone should have dreams and goals. But how are you going about actually achieving them? Have you actually got real steps? Or are you just saying it and just wishing it happens? There's a part of wishing and dreaming, actually the doing part.
Yeah.
So are you willing to do the doing part? Because I don't want you to get to a point where you have a goal and now once you don't achieve that, it puts you into an absolute spiral. So it's making those goals actually manageable, reachable. Start small. There's nothing wrong with starting small. Everyone likes to go not everyone, but a lot of people like to go so big and then get panicked and worried and really low when actually, I don't know the steps to get there. Okay, let's start small. It's okay.
So what would you say are some of those simple things? Like somebody says to you, you know what, I want to focus on my mental health. I don't know where to start. What would you encourage that person to kind of focus on? The simple things.
I'll just do something you can control. So when you get up every day, what is it that actually you like to do? What brings you joy and meaning in your life? It could literally be, I don't know, I'm going to engage in this little piece of work, reading half an hour. I'm going to go outside into the outdoors, just half an hour this day, this week. Start with really small things that you know that you enjoy, brings meaning to your life, something's important to you, and just action it. Don't just say it. Schedule within that week and that month. These are the times I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
These are my non-negotiables in a sense. This mundane things we do as humans every day. Those are not, for some people, they might be meaningful, enjoyable. But let's stay away from all the mundane things and add some things that actually brings you a bit of joy, excitement. That's what I would say.
Fair enough, fair enough. Unfortunately, we do have to wrap up. There is one more question.
I think there are two.
Two questions, in fact. Okay, Yvette says, how do you get people to open up to you in a small space of time, like on a ward? Thanks for coming on and sharing your expertise.
Another great question, Yvette. So I do a lot of inpatient work as well. And sometimes I have 4 other people around me in a ward, you know, when I go to speak to people. So how do I get people to kind of open up? I just be me, meet the person that's in front of me. You know, I don't overthink it. I just bring myself. And I think something I said earlier on is I drop all those kind of structures, those kind of, I have to give this person this certain thing. I actually just go there, have a conversation. Obviously, yes, it's therapeutically minded. I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm meeting you where you're at. You know, I'm not overcompensating. I'm not saying, oh, I've studied for 10 years. Let me tell you everything I've learned in 10 years. That's not what it's about. You know, you're someone going through the stress, and I'm just trying to help you in that moment. And sometimes all it needs is someone who's actively listening to you. Nothing more.
And I believe it's our last question. 90 plus XT says, good rising all. Dr. Shadiq, have you experienced racism in your profession from colleagues and or clients, or treated someone who displayed discriminative or racist traits?
Good question.
Good question. Can we keep the question? Because I want to dissect something here. From clients, so when it's not overt, is what I would say. So, especially when I was training, what you might get is, you might get someone that kind of looks at me at the face of things and starts to ask me a lot of probing questions about kind of my background and are you kind of qualified to do this in a sense, especially when I was training, right? That's one thing. I can go into more about that. But that's one. In terms of colleagues, again, it's not covert. I mean, it's not overt. So what happens is sometimes you might walk, now especially, I do it on purpose. I hide my badge and my lanyard, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes I walk into a ward and I like to see people's expressions, opinions, or where they think I'm about to go. So when I go into the ward, and I was like, oh, can I go see X, Y, and Z in bed 7? And they'll kind of ask me, like, why? Like, what's your kind of purpose? Or they assume that I don't have the role that I do. And then usually I can take out my badge, and their demeanor and how they kind of operate and treat me changes genuinely. So I experienced a lot of those things, and for me to kind of survive and keep going, I make fun of it. So I kind of, and it's not good, but I'm also human, and I need some laughs. So sometimes I go into ward, as I said, and I just hide all my credentials and just see how people treat me. And it's interesting how some people treat you differently based on the role and title you hold. I wasn't brought up that way, you know, whether it's the porter, the cleaner. Hi, sir. Hi, ma'am. How's your day? But not everyone's like that. So sometimes I just like to check people, in a sense, in my own way. Not aggressive, that's just like that.
I hear that's a real problem in the NHS.
Oh, massive.
To be fair though,
I'm back with another one.
if you
Like,
walk
this
into
time going
the
central.
ward
Look how early. Yeah, this is a killer. You
like this, yeah.
trainees enjoy it.
If you're walking in from South London, obviously, you're walking into a ward without lanyard. Why wouldn't you expect them to be like, what for?
But looking at this,
Yeah. This is how you're walking into the ward, right?
perfect.
Anyway, Victoria, come with me.
So if I was, for example, white with that coat
And the beanie,
and the
on the
beanie, right?
side.
Tall with stature
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
You think I'll get questioned the same? But before you answer as well, right? What should a psychologist look like?
Lanyard at the front so that we know, we know you're supposed to be here.
But back there, it's like, what does this? And I pose this question to a lot of people because people have an idea of what a psychologist is meant to look like, and we get forced to, okay, you have to present and dress in a certain way and be a certain way. I'm trying to basically disturb that. I can turn up. Obviously, I'm not trying to say go in there raggedy, of course not, right? But I should be able to turn up in what I feel comfortable with, what represents me. I shouldn't have to try and ascribe to someone else's standards or the box they try to put me in. No, I'm wearing my hat to the side. That's my style. And I walk into work like that. I know my colleagues start to look at me and like, your hat's kind of... They're thinking it, but they're not saying it. But that's just me. I wear my Jordan 1s to work. That's me. I'm not wearing no hard bottoms. That hurts my feet. So that's how I kind of, go about things. I'm trying to show people, we can be in these spaces. We haven't got to change who we are. You have to know the system, though, and know the game to play to get there first. I'll be honest with you. But once I'm on the other side, I'm just me.
So I love this, right? Let's just flip the roles. You were behind the desk, and you see Marg's roll through, and he says, "I would like to basically see somebody in Ward 9." Would you be like, just all right, around the corner, bust a left, raw?
Well, yeah, that's your answer.
But why not?
Okay.
Raw. So
Why not?
Tupac got killed, right?
First,
You can't just be walking around the place without accreditation, right? Surely.
so obviously on the boards you have visitors.
Yeah.
Right, so you can have family members, whatever it is, and you've got a whole host of professionals that's coming to visit, right? However, when sometimes people look at me, I didn't explain it fully, but really and truly,
Thanks.
really and truly, what they're actually thinking of me is I'm potentially like a porter or something of that role, which is nothing wrong with. It's just that without knowing me, there's so much assumptions that people kind of throw at you without whether they realize it or not. It's just unconscious, it happens.
Because typically those are the roles that they
Exactly.
unfortunately, like in the hospitals, the porters are always black.
And when the aunties, and uncles see me and they kind of see me walking through, honestly, you should see like the conversations we have. Like, I'm so proud of you. Don't know me from nowhere, but just to see someone in that space,
Yep.
kind of holding respect from professionals that may not hold them in that same regard, like, well done. They literally treat me as if I'm in the sun, you know. And for me, that means the world to me. You know, walking, be like, no, we can be here. We can hold these titles, but also you're important. We shouldn't be looked down on, you know, like we're not allowed to achieve and have these kind of titles. Like I walk into rooms sometimes and genuinely, especially when I was in training, when you're here in a space for like 6 months and out, and people might not actually know who you are. I'm telling you, when you go and you sit in the MDT room, a multidisciplinary team meeting sometimes with psychiatrists, doctors, and they're looking at you like, what are you doing here? Are you the scribe or something? I'm telling you, you guys think I'm joking. But we have to kind of make it up, man. We can be there, we can achieve.
Some would say it's not what you think. It's
No, but you know what? You're saying that though. Let me ask this question then. Do you feel like you as a psychologist, you do the same thing to your patients sometimes?
In terms of?
So you see maybe a black person or a white person, whatever, and assume certain things about their background, so you maybe change your tone to accommodate that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you're kind of being presumptuous too.
Amazing.
Isn't that just a human thing?
Amazing. And that's great. So as therapists, we have to also be in line and understand our own assumptions, because we all have assumptions as humans, right? And you're completely right. So when I see a black person, I don't assume that we have sameness, because respectfully, you could be a black person that grows up in London compared to someone in the country, social class differences. There's so much, there's nuanced, right? So you're right. So just because I see someone black doesn't mean that we're going to relate on that same level. But we do make assumptions, but we have to make sure, kind of keep that in check and understand when that's happening, for sure.
Because like I'm just thinking about sometimes if these things are good or bad things, right? I'll be honest, yeah. So when I used to work in the bank, I was a lot younger, yeah. Especially like during training and stuff, they'll be like, oh, you know, do the whole good afternoon, sir, and all that sort of stuff. Somebody that came in that looked like me from my world, I didn't give him the good afternoon, and you know what I'm saying? Because in my head I'm thinking,
That's out of order.
oh,
Very much.
That's out of order.
it's so out of order.
Very much so.
Yeah, that's your bias.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying though, because in my head I'm
Treated
thinking,
them like riffraff, you know.
no,
Didn't deserve that
no,
same.
it's not a riffraff thing. It's more so like we're the same. So I'm trying to be myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like a disrespect. It's more so same sort of level sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? So that the interaction is just normal. But somebody like you guys,
So
seen
for the
from
white
the
man,
outside,
for the white man, you was doing yes sir.
Yes.
but it's not a
and
yes.
good morning.
Good
How
morning,
are you?
no.
How are you? You know.
it's not a yes sir.
I said,
really?
wagwan.
It's more so, for example, I don't know you, innit? So, for example, if it was like an older black man, yes, sir, yes, you know what I'm saying? It's the same sort of thing. But somebody who's like same sort of age group, background, we would dress the same. It's a bit different. Do you get what I'm saying? 'Cause
But if you was in Nigeria or Ghana, would you do that?
but that's what I'm saying. In Nigeria and Ghana, maybe the whole dynamic is yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So wherever it is there, do you know what I'm saying?
But
'Cause
that's what it is here. You just decided to go against your training.
potentially, that's what I'm saying to you.
Not potentially. Actually.
No, but what I'm trying to say to you is it's more so, I think, just the assumption that because you come from the same world, language is just more than speech, innit? You know what I'm saying? So the way you're going to familiarize yourself with that person and make the whole interaction smooth might be different. You know what I'm saying?
I think you need to start at the professional
I agree.
age.
Yeah.
Because you have to see what the person is giving
That's what I'm
you.
saying to you.
And then you can see
Yeah.
whether it's safe or not, so I can drop my...
Facts. That's what I'm saying
Do
to
you know what I mean? But you can't start.
No, but that's what I'm
You
saying.
can't
to you. I see
like
it as
that.
wrong. You know what I'm saying? I see it as wrong when I think back. When I think back, innit? You know what I'm saying? But I'm thinking to myself, isn't that kind of what we do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
In
I think
human-
what
you know.
the unfortunate issue is that the assumption is always negative.
But
The
why is
assumption
that a
isn't a
negative
positive
thing?
because it's racism. Like that's
Oh.
what do you mean? If he's going into a room and they're saying, "Are you the?"
Oh, no,
black-"
I'm not
yeah.
saying that
No, but
part.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
But
yeah,
for
cool.
them, the assumption is always
Yeah, I
negative.
get you, I
It's
get
not
you.
a positive assumption.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yes, we all assume, but why is your assumption of me always negative? That's the issue.
Yeah, I hear it.
You know?
I hear it.
Is it a bad thing to assume in your sessions? Are there pockets where it's good to assume?
Yeah, we shouldn't be assuming. We should long story short, we shouldn't be assuming. We have assumptions, for sure, but that's what we need to have that insight and understanding of it. Okay, hold on, what's at play here? Why is it?
Oh, sorry.
Me too.
Is that me?
So
It was me. Oh, sorry. Go.
sorry, my train of thought is. Sorry, what was the question? Assumptions.
Yeah, because you
Yes.
said sometimes you have to put down the notes, you have to put down the models and whatnot, and you have to just be actively present, right? So, in my mind, sometimes in my head, you can kind of assume that they're not saying something, and then you probe in order to get that thing out from them. Isn't that a good example of some?
Assuming?
Oh yeah.
No. So assuming is more so thinking, in this therapy sessions wise, is thinking, okay, similar to what Eman said. Okay, just on the face of it, I don't know much information, but you're black, you're from the Caribbean. I'm going to speak to you a certain way in terms of I'm going to use my patois, and I'm going to start speaking about all the cultural things that I know because you're from there too.
Yeah.
Actually, this person has no connection to the Caribbean. His identity, for example, might be quite different. How he sees himself actually might be completely different. I've come in with an assumption, but you're black, we're quite young, from the Caribbean. You should know all the things I'm speaking about. I'm straight away not going to speak to you a certain way.
Yeah.
I'm going to start dropping my, I don't know, my T's, no more THs, Anthony, not Anthony.
Yeah.
I think I said the same thing twice anyway. But that's an assumption in therapy, and it can be quite dangerous, and it's a bias.
So I understand that extreme, but more so what I'm talking about is because I'm trying to obviously get you to my agenda. Obviously, just be mindful of that, right? So if they can't articulate themselves properly, you have to basically read between the lines. What is reading between the lines?
Body. So if someone, and this happens, not everyone can articulate how they're feeling, but some people can feel in terms of what's happening. So instead of saying, oh, I feel like really low, or I'm feeling anxious, it's actually, okay, what's happening in your body? All right? So your body stores a lot of these feelings or these kind of thoughts that you can't bring to mind. So I have many people, and I think I'm one of those. I can't always tell you exactly how I'm feeling if it's anxious, but I know how it feels. I might go to the toilet 5 times before an exam. That's the anxiety and worry. But for years, I'll tell you I don't struggle with that. Or for an interview, I actually like them. My body doesn't know. But I would tell you I like all these things, exams, interviews, because I can show the best me. Right? I can thrive off that. But my body doesn't like it. I'll lose sleep. I'll go to the toilet loads. Like, loads of these things happen in our body, but we can't potentially say it.
But can you be in a session with someone and have like a kind of an idea, of where you think it's going to go,
Yeah.
and then you but you let the person get there. That's basically your job, isn't it?
No,
Agendas.
Shadi, you and me, Spiderman. 'Cause I can't trust a therapist if it is they can't be aware that they are assuming. Because I could hear you assuming. I could hear what you're saying. I can hear where you're leading me. I can hear the questions. Don't now turn around and say, no, wait, no, not to do that. I hear you. I
Agendas.
can't trust you now. I can't trust you now. You understand? I have to book another therapist. Sorry.
You're completely right. So, in some schools of psychology, a lot of therapists would have an agenda, literally, right? They'll have an agenda in terms of the potential work they might want to do with you that session. And some therapists, just like a doctor or lawyer, let me not bash people like this, man. But you have good doctors, bad doctors, good lawyers. It doesn't mean just because you're a therapist, we're going to get things right all the time.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be great for you, right? But this agenda I'm talking about, they would have, for example, okay, I want to cover these things. They mentioned this last session. Let's see if we can unpick that a little bit. However, there's a fine line between having a balance of, okay, I have an agenda, right? But I want to collaborate with you. This is your therapy session. So am I willing and have the understanding and skill to actually have an agenda, but don't always have to stay by it and actually sit in a room with you and listen to what you're bringing up? So there are some schools of thought, especially doing CBT when you're training, you have to have that agenda that's collaborative. So they say you pretty much both have to kind of agree of what you're doing. What that looks in practice can vary. So you might have someone, as Brent was saying, you can see the questions, the probes, they're looking for something specific. You don't know exactly what it is, but this line of questioning, they're saying it in just like 6 different ways. It's the same question. I'm not saying that's the right thing. That's not what I would do, but people learn with time. this is me trying not to bash people. People can learn, and it's just having a balance with flexibility.
But then I see that as like you're training your therapist, and I can't stand that. I can't stand like someone assuming that's what I'm thinking or that's what I'm doing. Don't think for me. Like I hate that with a passion. I really do.
Okay.
So how do you like as a question, like how if you was in that situation, how would you get around that, or how would you work through that?
What situation specifically?
So your therapist is kind of thinking for you.
Name it. Name it. I think sometimes we, and I say we, me too, we can overcomplicate things. Name whatever it is you're feeling. That's material. Like in a session. That'll help them help you. Why should I hold on to it? But I know sometimes it's daunting because this is the expert and you don't want to say expert. No, but I need you to say that. How can I help if you don't tell me?
But then you should be paying me.
See, it's a two-way street. You get it?
Okay.
So therapy it takes two. Yeah, I've got these skills and whatever, but you're expert in you. So if you don't tell me, this, and I tell people, tell me when something doesn't sit right. Like some things that I might be going through, it might not land with you, and that's okay. We can keep on fine tuning. But if you don't give me no feedback, I can't fine tune. Give me something.
Yeah, fair.
That's a part of my work. Let me do it.
Yeah, sure.
Before we wrap up, yeah, what you can say? You can say something.
They're saying that's what women be asking him. I want to help people.
Brent, see.
Let me in. Let me in.
Work in progress.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ask you. Can you give us an example of maybe some of the tools that you kind of leave somebody with to be like, when I'm not here, you can use it to kind of help yourself.
It's not gonna be enough for you, Just understand that. It's not gonna be enough. All right.
So that's broad. Reason I say it's broad is because it varies depending on what the difficulty is the person coming with. I know.
Do you know what? So just to add to that, so like Blue Monday is coming up, right? So a lot of people at work, it's like a thing in corporate world, I would say.
Okay, gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? So the 19th of Jan is the most depressing day of the year, apparently. So a lot of people are like sad and down and everything like that. So like in a practical sense, if they're feeling those feelings, like what should they do, or what can they? I guess maybe it's similar to the question before.
Yeah, to kind of.
Yeah, how would you navigate that, or
The January
some
blues.
trips? Yeah, January blues. Yeah, exactly.
I think in the shortest way possible, I like to think of action first. So lead with your action and allow your thoughts and feelings to follow after. Typically, when usually we get ready for a party, people can't be asked. Me, personally, I'm like, not today, man. But when you're there, you're enjoying it, right? So one of the barriers is going to be, I'm not feeling up to it today. Go and do that thing that you enjoy on that day. Whether it is, I said, something small that'll make you feel good. I know you're probably, because what's the corporate world blues, right? So we're statement to not feel good on that day. So let's do something that brings you some joy for that day. And that's just purely action. We're not going back to like actually tackling the thoughts itself. This is something you can do on your own. So it's very similar to the answer I gave before. I really believe in action.
Small joys. Like,
Something meaningful.
Yeah. I used to have the thing where I'd look forward to something every day. So it could be like anything. It could be like, not now because no sugar, but eat or something. But do you know what I mean? Like just something small, just make it
Being in corporate was bad for my mental health.
Oh, serious.
That was it.
That's a whole session.
Yeah, that literally is a whole session where,
All right, so Davina said, I had a therapist that used to put words in my mouth.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
She said.
She corrected us.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I told her that's not what I said.
That's not a therapist, baby.
Brent, please.
That's a case. That's a charge.
All right, so I told her that's not what I said. You said that. It took me a while to because of things like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's my question.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, but it's
But
a
exactly.
contributing
True.
statement.
True indeed.
You know.
All right, so it's been a good one, man. Thank you very much for blessing us with your presence. You know what I'm saying? Giving us all the insights. Yeah, man. I hope everyone gained something from this. Hope everyone's going to start looking into therapy seriously. Brent, you know what I'm saying?
Brent.
100 and what?
Good.
Would you be seriously you? I'm on to you.
So where can we find you? Socials, all of that.
So TWA Psychology Collective on Instagram. TWA same thing on in terms of website, and then if you want a bit more of my personality, you can find me on TikTok, Dr. SJ Clinical Psychologist. Yeah.
Come on. All right, man. Once again, thank you very much for joining us, man.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Some more headlines, Brent. We ain't got nothing.